Look, your audience needs to see you consistently this year, and not just anywhere, but in the right places. So if you've been struggling with getting your brand seen, driving engagement, or even driving sales, then this session is going to answer all of your problems because I am giving you access to never before seen footage. This is exclusive footage from my private mentorship community that I am giving you so that you can walk away with a clear quarterly marketing plan to drive sales and increase your brand's visibility. So grab your notebook, grab your iPad, grab whatever it is that you need to grab because this is almost 2 hours of straight gems. Let's tap in. So tonight we are talking all about your 2025 game plan for visibility and sales. This is part 4 of our Profitable New Year series. So if you've been in Bomb CEO, we started this new series in December. We did part 1 and then we did parts 2 and 3 in January. If you weren't here for parts 1, 2, or 3, you want to make sure that you go back and you watch those because it is essential, okay, to 2025 success. So tonight we are talking about what you feel like is the most important thing, but to me, it's the end result of everything that we already worked on. So tonight we're talking about marketing, more specifically marketing and sales, and how we can actually do that in 2025 strategically so that way we hit our goals, okay? So let's get into it. Actually, real quick announcement. 2025 is really the year that I want everybody to be aggressive toward their goals. And so I've strategically mapped out certain sessions month to month with certain themes intentionally, so that way you can actually achieve your goals. Or even if you get really close to it and you don't hit or surpass your goals, you'll be able to know why. So January, we talked about actually strategizing what those goals look like and having a plan versus just saying random things. In February, you're going to learn how to actually interpret your data, how to read your data, how to use your data, all the things. But then you're also going to learn about productivity so you can be your best self and pair that together with a productivity hack called the 12-week year. Put that together with the goals that you've set, and then that should get you closer to your goal already. And then when you see March, you're going to be able to get closer to your goal. And then we start a content series after that, where we're going to get deep into content. So it's really, really exciting things that are happening. So 2025 in February, we are reading the 12-week year. So if you don't have that book, get that book, ASAP Rocky. I can drop a link in the group later today after the session. I'll drop a link so that way you can go ahead and get the 12-week year. There's a field guide that you can get as well. I highly recommend getting that field guide. I should have had mine here so I could show you, but it's basically a workbook with the 12-week year. I would get that even if I did like an audio book or one of the free PDF versions online of the actual book. I would get the field guide as a hard copy so that you can write in the hard copy. Now, let's get into tonight's session. So what we're going to cover tonight is you are going to be able to create a clear visibility strategy that gets your brand in front of the right people. You are going to determine how it is you're going to build trust and generate leads that turn into loyal customers, okay? And last but not least, we are all about taking action in here. So we are going to develop a simple yet actionable sales system that you can implement right away to start driving some consistent revenue. This sales system is something that doesn't need a whole lot of traffic pushed through it for it to work. It's going to work simply because you set it up and you didn't have it set up before. And then from there, you improve to push more traffic to it. And then from there, you improve to push more traffic to it, and then to improve the conversion rates on the back end. So that's kind of like how we want to think about our sales system. If you don't have a sales system, period, the first step is creating one and making sure that we know that it's a milestone of goals and not just randomly implement a sales system and then you're making 6 or multi-6 figures tomorrow. Like that's not how it works. But that's what we'll cover tonight. We'll cover these 3 things. Which are you the most excited about? Are you the most excited about gaining some visibility for your brand, generating leads, or establishing a sales system? Put 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. So 1, if it's visibility strategy, 2, if it's generating leads, 3, if it's developing a sales system, or if it's multiple, you could do that too. Two, three, one, three, and two, not in a different order. One and three. All right. Real quick, drop what everybody is selling, just so I know for examples and stuff. Drop what everybody is selling. I know, Lena, I know yours, but I want to know what your focus is. So I know Lena, I know Chloe. I know what both of you ladies offer, but what's the focus? Because I know the past few weeks we were talking about goals for our quarter 1 and so on and so forth. So let me know what your focus is. What are you pushing? What do you want to generate leads for? What do you want to generate sales for? What do you want to bring attention to? Drop it in the chat so I know. And while you're dropping that, I'm going to get started and I'll just revisit the chat as I need to. All right. Okay, so first things first, it's important that we remember that this is going to build on our past sessions. So you should have already established your financial goals. You should have clear revenue goals mapped out with your financial drivers. You should have your operational goals mapped out. So you should know what systems you need to support your efficiency and to support your growth. If you don't know, then we need to make sure that we're creating those things. You should also have bold brand goals, meaning that you should know how you want your brand to be positioned in the industry and what you want your perception of your brand to be. That's what we talked about last week. So if anything, that's the most recent thing that you should have developed. Today, we are going to build on that foundation. So today, talking about the marketing and how you'll get eyes on your brand and how you'll sell things builds on that foundation, because no one can buy from you if they don't know you exist. And when it comes to them buying from you, no one can buy from you if a weak foundation is there. So I saw that you dropped what it is that you want to sell or focus on in the chat. What's been the biggest struggle for you when it came to your brand being seen and making consistent sales? So what's been your biggest struggle when it comes to getting your brand seen and making consistent sales? Chloe said press on nails and paints. So what's been your biggest struggle to getting your brand seen and making consistent sales? Digital products for nail techs. I didn't know that. Why did I think you were doing something else? That's interesting. You know, Chloe is also a nail tech. Y'all should definitely bounce ideas off each other. Chloe's definitely a nail tech. And Chloe does both sides. She does digital and she has physical products. That's dope. Ashley, group luxury trips. What's been your biggest obstacle with getting your brand seen and making consistent sales? Let's see. Ingrid said, I think mine has been targeting the right high-paying, ready-to-buy audience. Okay, so for you, you've been struggling with getting the people who are willing to pay for the level of quality product that you have, getting those eyes on your brand. That makes sense. Lena said, creating and posting the content has been the biggest struggle. Still? That's interesting. Felicia said, I know I commented on her post in the past. I stated I was in the, oh, okay. All right, cool beans. All right, so now that we identified what our biggest struggle is, and you can keep dropping them in the chat, we're going to solve all of it, right? Because there are 3 core elements of an effective visibility and sales plan, and make sure that you're writing this down. Brand awareness, lead generation, sales strategy. So Cheyenne said, they see me, however, they're not buying, and I'm not sure why. That's a part of your sales strategy and lead generation. That's both of those things. So if you don't have all 3 of these, you don't have money on the back end. You need to be effectively generating brand awareness, generating leads, and generating sales through a strategy, right? There's a reason why even when, like both of my brands, even when we stop showing up, which is not good, we still have elements of things that allow us to build brand awareness, or we have built enough brand awareness where we still generate leads, we still generate sales. So my email list builds every single day, whether I say join my email list or not. I can't tell you I can tell you the last time I said to grab something from my email list. Maybe late November or something is the last time I pushed a lead magnet. Now in 2025, if I want to make $1 million, we're going to be way more intentional. So we're pushing a lead magnet every single week. But the point is, even without me pushing that lead magnet to generate the leads consistently, or frequently, I should say, at a high cadence, we still have people joining our email list every single day. And so if we had an automated sequence that would sell them, we then would generate sales every single day. And if you were in Bomb CEO, which I know, Cheyenne, you're new, Ingrid, you're new, I've expressed to the ladies before that one of the things that I was missing that was stopping me from getting from multi-six figures to seven figures was a sales system. And so I was so big on branding that sometimes I blurred my eyes to the sales system that ironically, when I got into corporate, my first job was a sales job at Enterprise. And so I know sales, I just don't like feeling like I'm pushing people to buy. Anybody feel like that? Like you don't like feeling like you're pushing people, like you're being too pushy, pushing the sale, da, 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 da. But then when I spoke with my mentor, Donnie, she's like, baby, well, that's what you got to do. But when you pair the fact that you're strong, you have a strong brand with a strong sales system, the two work hand in hand and you're going to reach your results faster than you think. And she is absolutely right, because it is January 30th and we are halfway to six figures already, right? And so I want to help you do that, right? I want to help you build what that looks like for you. So the three core elements: you want to get seen by the right people, you want to build trust and collect engaged leads, and you also want to convert leads into paying customers. And what I'll do throughout this session, like I always do, I'll bounce back and forth between both businesses and give you some examples. HBU, we generate sales as well. We generate people on our email list. I have no idea how, well, let me not say I have no idea. I was going to say I have no idea how we got to 1,000 emails on our list, knowing that HBU really only showed up online for maybe 2.5, 3 months. And that is just God giving us those leads and giving us those sales. But then I think back to how I built brand awareness and the different evergreen pieces of content that I put out there. Those things continue to work. And so tonight we're going to brainstorm what you can do to have evergreen content out there that will still generate leads, even when you're not fully capable of showing up for whatever reason. There's still some type of system that's at play for you. And so most people focus only on the last step, which is sales, but they struggle to get sales because they haven't built visibility or generated trust first. And if you have generated visibility, but you're not getting leads, your problem is you're getting seen by the wrong people. If you're getting seen by the right people and you're generating leads, but they're not converting into sales, the problem is your sales strategy. And if you're not getting eyes on your brand at all, no traffic, nobody looking at whatever platform you're on, YouTube, Instagram, what have you, you're not getting any views, you're not getting any engagement or anything, then there's a problem at the brand awareness phase and who it is we are trying to attract, or what the strategy is that we're using to attract them on that specific platform. Because your tweak may be simply doing a nosedive deep into whatever platform it is that you're on and learning how you can master that platform for your brand. And that could turn the faucet on for you. But we need to pinpoint exactly what it is. Okay, we need to pinpoint exactly what it is. And so when you pair, right, when you pair getting seen, building trust and nurturing those leads, and then converting them, that's when you actually make revenue. Sales don't just come from showing up online. They come from a structured strategy that moves people from awareness to purchase. And so if you hear me say customer journey, or if you hear me say sales funnel, I'm pretty much saying the process of moving people from awareness to purchase. Your sales funnel are the marketing tactics that you are doing. Your customer journey are the brand tactics that you are doing to move people through each and every stage. And so your customer journey thinks about feelings, thoughts, as well as their perception of your brand and so on and so forth, where your sales funnel is like, okay, are we running ads? Are we retargeting them? Are we sending them emails? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? It's solely focused on the sales aspect of it, whereas your customer journey is saying, okay, if we're sending them emails, are we actually telling them our brand story? Are we actually trying to learn more about them? When they get our product, are we making sure that delivery is great? If it's a digital product, are we giving instructions? If it's a physical product, heck, are we giving instructions? Is the package put together when they get it? What does loyalty looks like for them? Is there a loyalty program? How can they refer people? All these things we want to think about. Okay, does that make sense so far? If you already know which one of these issues you have, let me know in the chat. If you know it's a brand awareness issue, if you know it's a lead generation issue, if you know it's a sales strategy issue, let me know in the chat. Because I'm going to break each of these down. We're going to go one by one, and I'm going to tell you how you can strategize each of these things, but I want to know if you can pinpoint what it is. So let me see. I know that Ashley said this is my first time launching group trips, but one hurdle will be standing out against the established competition. So Ashley, your issue may be brand awareness. Lena said, I don't have a babysitter as much. Oh, okay. The content. So if you're not putting out the content, you're not generating brand awareness. And we'll talk about what a possible fix could be for you. Okay. Cheyenne, yep, sales strategy. Ashley, brand awareness. Lena, brand awareness. Ingrid, yes, brand awareness and sales strategy. I would say, so you can't lead to one without the other. Think about it like a ladder or something, maybe. A ladder? Steps. So think about brand awareness as the first step, lead generation as the second step, sales strategy the third step. You can't skip steps. So if you're not generating attention from the right people, there's a brand awareness problem first. So that's what we solve. Then we build on top of it, right? So Ingrid, it's probably, it's more so the brand awareness. But if you don't have a sales strategy, we still going to build that out too. But I'm just saying, like, we got to focus on getting the right people to see you, so that way your sales strategy actually works, or your lead generation strategy actually works. All right. Cool beans, cool beans. So first, obviously, we're going to talk about brand awareness, because that is the first step, like I just said. All right. So when it comes to gaining visibility online, getting seen by the right people, we need to clarify our core visibility channels. What does this mean, Chanel? One, I talk about heartbeat platforms when it comes to your organic content. You need to know what your heartbeat platform is, and then what your secondary platform is. My heartbeat platform is YouTube for my flagship business, the Brand Hustler LLC. Secondary is Instagram, which we just returned on like last week. For HBU, my heartbeat platform is Instagram. My secondary platform that we're developing this year is going to be Pinterest, for their own reasons. And we talked a little bit about this in the brand bootcamp. If you attended the brand bootcamp, we went deeper into how to decipher what your heartbeat content is. If you weren't a part of the brand bootcamp, I can see if, I can't promise it'll be done tomorrow, but I can see if we can pull that excerpt out about finding your heartbeat platform and put it into the bonus resource section, if that will be helpful. So if y'all want that, let me know, because if you don't want it, then I'm not going to do it, because the brand bootcamp was 2 days and it was like 4 hours each day. So I'm not going to sort through 8 hours of content if y'all don't want that, right? So if you do want to figure out how you can choose your heartbeat platform, and you want that excerpt from when I taught it at the brand bootcamp, then let me know in the chat. But the point is, you want to clarify what that is for you. So when you think about your core visibility channels, you want to think about, how am I generating awareness organically, paid, and even with collaborations, right? So there's 3 different visibility paths. I want you to think about it like this. There's 3 different ways that you could get to one destination, right? You got the way, maybe one way is this street, one way is this street, one way might be the highway or something. You have the street of collaboration, you have the street of organic, you have the highway of paid, right? And I'll tell you why I say that paid is the highway. So when you pay for traffic, you get faster results. But I strongly believe that you shouldn't run an ad, you shouldn't pay for an influencer, you shouldn't pay for a paid promo if your brand isn't developed yet, right? And that's why we went in this order. That's why we went in the order of the sequence for the New Year series. So you got these 3 paths. Organic marketing is your organic social media content is completely free. It's you creating content on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok. It's SEO. So making sure that your SEO is on your website, or if you have landing pages or anything like that, making sure that everything is SEO friendly. So if you use link in bios, if you use something like Stan Store even, they have the ability for you to use keywords. They also have the ability for you to edit the, some sites call it metadata. Some sites call it like your social share description. Anywhere where you see the ability to edit your social share description or your metadata or anything like that, edit it, okay? Edit it. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say metadata and social share? Or do I need to pull up an example? Yes? Yes? Okay, Lena said yes. Ingrid, I see you. Ingrid's the only one that asked for it, so maybe we'll just email it to you, Ingrid, since you're the only one that wants to know how to figure out your heartbeat platform. All right, I'm gonna pull up an example. This example is not going to be, it's what I'm talking about, but it's not gonna be a platform that you probably will ever use. It's just one that we are using to get registrants for the free webinar. And so I have it up right now. So that's why I'm going to show you this one versus me wasting time having to sign in somewhere else. So let me pull it up real quick. I'm going to switch it to this screen. Hold on. Let me switch it to this screen and I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. Webinar stuff. It's in here. All right. So in here, right, in any platform that exists online, like I said, most of them will give you the ability to edit what's called the social share or your metadata. You can edit this on Shopify for a fact. It's actually when you go in to list a product on Shopify, after you add the description and stuff, at the bottom, it says, it has like a little box where it has page title and page description. That's the same thing, okay? So pretty much you see how up top here says free launch training with the brand hustler. That's something that I set up, right? So when I go to settings, you see how it says SEO metadata right here? Y'all can see my screen still, right? Yeah, okay. When I click this, you can change this. So before, this was like ClickFunnels, something, whatever the template was called. The description was empty. Keywords were non-existent. So I came in, I added the page title, added the description, added keywords for the page. For them, they have an author, so put myself, and then I put a social image. So if you have an iPhone, I don't know if Androids do this, but if you have an iPhone, when somebody sends you a link, there's an image that pops up. That image is because somebody set up the social share image for it. So this is my social share image. And so when this is shared, this image actually pops up on your phone. Or if I were to paste this link into Mighty Networks, this link would be what popped up. Kind of like when I pasted the UPS link today and that picture popped up, that's because that image was created as the share image. Does that make sense? Y'all get what I mean now? So it's the little things that matter, right? The little things that matter. These are organic ways of making sure that your stuff gets in front of the right people. So Ingrid, if you are trying to reach a certain high value type of person, you first need to know who this person is. And there's a lesson that we did when we first started Bomb CEO in June, where I taught the ladies how to build out their full persona profile. And I taught a hack on how you can build on that in ChatGPT and get a full description of their desires, what type of jobs they have, do they have kids, what shows they watch, all the things. And so when you have that information, you'll know what appeals to them and make sure that you're putting the tags that make sense to what's on the page as well as what will appeal to them, okay? All right, let me find the what you call it. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Is it this? There we go. All right. So let's get back to it. So that's SEO. SEO is also when you are uploading an image to any platform, making sure that you have the image saved with a file name. If you're uploading from your phone to Instagram, obviously you can name your phone, your image on your phone, but I don't know who's going to do that. When you upload to Instagram, you actually have the ability to edit some of that alt text on the back end too. But when you're uploading to websites and things like that, you want to make sure that you titled your image before you upload it. And then if the platform allows you to edit your alt text, websites especially will allow you to do this. You want to make sure that you're editing that, because that type of stuff will help you rank on search, Google, Bing, all the things. Okay. So that's organic marketing, your SEO, your social media, and then your email, right? Your email is actually organic marketing as well. The reason why is because you're not paying for it. Even if you had to maybe attend a paid event to get people to join your email list, that still doesn't count as paid. It's still organic, because the marketing that you have to do, you sending an email is you sending an email. You don't have to pay to play there. You just have to send the emails or have the email automation set up. Now, paid marketing, which is the highway, these are your ads. This could be YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Pinterest ads, TikTok ads, whatever ads. These are also sponsorships with influencers, paid promo with blog pages. So if you were to want to be posted on the Shade Room, or if you wanted to be posted on Black Millionaires page, y'all know these pages on Instagram? Black Millionaires, the Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked. They have natural hair pages, stuff like that. Those pages are promotional pages. You can pay to promote. I know because I did this before. I did this with my shoe boutique, and I did this with this brand when I was first starting. I also know that this still works because my friend runs the Black Millionaires page, and the amount people pay him is crazy, but it works, right? He has people who pay him, and he'll post their content. The trick to paid promotion is to make sure that whatever page you're posting on, your post mimics the style of their content so that their audience wants to actually pay attention to it. And then you normally will get results. I really like paid promo. I used to use it a lot. And so that's paid promo, but you're paying for faster reach. Then you have collaborative partnerships. These aren't influencers. And shout out to you, Ingrid. That was your first video today. Yes. These aren't influencers. These are collaborating with people that you know, collaborating with the big names or medium names in your industry, with big media or medium media within your industry. So Chloe and Felicia, they could strike up a collaboration. And let's say Chloe has, I don't know, 10,000 people on her Instagram, and Felicia has 5,000 people. But maybe Chloe's like, I know that out of this 10,000 people, only like 2,000 of them are locked in. And Felicia's like, well, I built this from the ground up with all nail tech. So I know about 95% of them are locked in. So about 4,500 or whatever are locked in. They collaborate. Now that allows them to exchange followers. Now that allows them to get awareness from each other's following as well. You have podcast features, right? Don't be afraid to pitch yourself to podcasts. If you know that you align with a certain podcast or you have a story for a podcast, pitch yourself to the podcast. So Lena, you're a mom, you're helping other moms. I know that there's a bunch of podcasts out there that you can pitch yourself to. I absolutely know that it is. It's up to you to do a Google search and find it, but I know that there is, and I'm not even a mom yet. I know that there is, right? And so find out these podcasts and pitch yourself. And when you're pitching yourself, you want to make sure that you're leading with your story, which is why, once again, it goes back to the whole brand thing that we talked about. Because when you know your story, you know your angle, you know your positioning, and you also know your audience, You're pitching to them, not begging, saying, oh, let me come on your platform. You're pitching to them with the value that you bring to their platform. Does that make sense? This goes for even when you want to collaborate with somebody. Maybe you don't know them. Maybe you're not in a community with them. Maybe you haven't met them in person before, but you want to pitch to them so that y'all could do a collaboration live, or y'all could do a collaboration campaign, or y'all could do a collaboration event, or whatever the case may be. You want to lead with the value that you have. Are y'all getting it? And when I say affiliate marketing, this is good. The key to this, or the trick to this, let me put y'all up on game, what I do. And I know that I'm one of the only people who take this seriously. I'm not talking about just the links in your bio and stuff that you get commissions off of, but I mean, when it comes to being a CEO brand, and if you don't know what I call a CEO brand, it's basically a personal brand, but for the purpose of your business. Anything that I post personally is on purpose to push to my business. It's not just because I want you to know my life, right? The idea is for it to feel kind of like it, but for it to always tie back to the core so that you want to go shop with me or buy from me. Doing this allows you to corner a very specific area in the market where you can get collaborations from big brands, big tools that you use, all the things. And when you get these collaborations, you can actually use that to your advantage to get brand awareness. So when they're saying, hey, can you create a video so that you could put it in front of your audience of, let me scroll up, let me see. What Cheyenne said she wanted to create again? In front of your audience of scrolly. I don't know what kind of planner, but you said a planner. I don't know. What is this? Content planner, financial planner? What kind of planner is this? But maybe they want to be put in front of your audience of entrepreneurs. Maybe it's a content planner. I don't know, for entrepreneurs. And they want to be put in front of your audience. You can say, okay, in exchange of being put in front of our audience, can we be put in front of your audience as well? Because this tool, obviously, if they want to work with you, it means that you align with them. It means y'all align with each other. So you can share my content. We can even do a duo post if it's on Instagram. Or after I'm done posting on said platform, I can give you my piece of content. You post it organically on your platform, and then you just make sure that you tag me. Or you allow me to write an article on your blog for your website. Okay? These things work. So if you have a certain tool you use, that could be Lena, that could be Adobe, that could be Canva, Chloe, that could be a certain nail tool that you live by. It doesn't hurt to pitch yourself to them and ask. And if they have a blog, even if they're not paying you to post something, ask them, can you generate a content piece for their blog? And then at the end of the blog, and I know y'all seen it before, at the end of the blog or at the end of the article, it tells you who wrote it, and usually it'll have a link. And if it says it's a contributor of some degree, that means that they don't even work for them. All right. So I kind of went in my bag with this one. So I want you real quick. I'm going to give you like 3 minutes. I want you to write down what are 3 visibility channels that you're going to prioritize in 2025. What are 3 visibility channels? I just went through a couple of them. What are 3 visibility channels? And don't just say social media. Be specific about what the platform is, because you should know what your heartbeat is. Or at least, if you don't know, put my heartbeat platform, whatever that is. And then you figure that out afterwards. And you know that's one of the areas that you're going to go hard on. That's your organic. If you're going to do 2 organic, so maybe you're going to focus on blogging and improving your SEO on top of your heartbeat platform. Okay, cool. And then you're going to do a paid one. All right, cool. So yours can look like YouTube. Felicia, no. So we're not going to do, sorry. Where our goal is to try to take from at least 2 columns. Okay? We want to take from at least 2 columns. So remember, your heartbeat platform, your secondary platform, we're not doing 3 platforms at one time. If you post on third platform, it's for fun. It's for bonus points. Think about it like that. So when I post on TikTok, it's bonus points. I'm not stressing about whether it does well, whether it converts or not. If I post on TikTok, it's because I just felt like it. It's not a part of my game plan in 2025. Does that make sense? A part of my game plan is YouTube and Instagram for one business. The other business is Instagram and Pinterest. Nothing else matters. When we don't have focus, we don't reach our goals, period, right? So you need to have focus. So if you're going to do organic and you want to do 2 forms of organic, you can pick your heartbeat and your secondary platform. The third one needs to be either paid or collaborative. Or if you're going to take one from each 3, where you're going to focus on your heartbeat platform and then a paid initiative and a collaborative initiative, perfect. However you want to mix and match, but we're not going to do three different social media platforms. So you got like 2 more minutes to jot down what they're going to be. Make sure you're writing it down and then put it in the chat. But write it down. Because what I find sometimes is that people will be in the sessions and you'll think of a great idea and you didn't write it down, but you put it in the chat and then you can't go back and get it. So make sure that you write it down. So for me this year, as badly as I want HBU to partner with influencers this year, we're coming out with our physical product in Q4. If you were on the session where I did my annual planning part 1, you would know. But in Q4, we're coming out with it in October. I'm not paying for influencers. I'm not paying for influencers at that point because it doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense budget-wise to do that. At least as of right now, I don't think so. So for me, what my strategy is utilizing Instagram, Pinterest, and advertising. And it'll be an advertising strategy, right? For the upfront lead generation and then for the retargeting of it, right? And that'll be an ad strategy on Instagram. And then once I learn Pinterest, an ad strategy on Pinterest. But that's what mine looks like. And then next year, once I get my first few reviews back from my books and stuff, my planner, then I can go ahead and do some influencer sponsorships. For the Brand Hustler, we're focused on our organic and collaborative and ads. We're doing 3, right? We're doing 3. So yeah, gonna be doing a lot of speaking and stuff this year. Can you explain the brand collab? My internet was going off. Okay, so brand collabs is, I explained it 2 different ways. I said that this can be you collaborating with another brand that has your audience. So I gave the example of Felicia and Chloe, who both serve the nail industry. If you have, followings that could be exchanged, doing a collaborative live together, collaborating on a campaign, collaborating on an event, so that way you can share each other's audiences, that could be a brand collab right there. I then said for the brand collab / affiliate marketing aspect is you can collaborate with big brands, big tools that you use, big softwares, things like that. And you can collab with them and ask them to be shown to their audience. So for example, I'm a Canva, it's called Canvassador now. I'm a Canvassador. If I create content for Canva, I have the ability for them to list whatever content it is on a platform. I have to request it, put in a request, and once it's approved, they can list it. That allows people who already need to use Canva to see my content. And so if they see my content and I'm talking about building a brand and they're wondering what their color codes are or something like that, and I'm talking about it in that video or in that article, they then probably want to come and learn more about what I offer. So you do that with, you want to do that with popular tools or your big softwares that you use, because they probably have an audience. If you use it, then y'all have similar audiences, if that makes sense. Okay, so now that you have your 3, Now that you have your 3, the second part of this is to commit to a visibility routine. Because if you're not consistent, you're invisible. And so what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you are focused, kind of like I just told Felicia. You want to make sure that you're focused, right? And you want to make sure that you know the goals of whatever it is that you're doing. Establish those goals from now. And then you develop a visibility routine. So if that looks like I'm going to do 3 reels per week on Instagram, I'm going to do 1 video every week on YouTube, I'm going to do 2 emails per week to nurture my subscribers, and I'm going to do a guest feature or a collab per month, that's your visibility routine. Now you're measuring the actions that you put in versus just waiting on the results. So now you can say, okay, I'm doing my 3 reels, I'm doing my 1 video, I got my 2 emails, I'm pitching to people to get either my guest feature in an article or what have you, or my collaboration with somebody else or somebody else's brand. And I'm checking the boxes. And every month, I'm making sure that I'm doing 3 reels, 1 YouTube video, 2 emails per week, and then getting 1 guest feature or collab a month. Does that make sense? Yes, yes, yes. All right. What do I get? Oops, sorry. All right. I need to pull up my timer so that way when I give y'all the next assignment, we got it. All right, perfect. So what I want you to do after tonight's session is I want you to draft what your routine looks like. So you picked what your areas are. You picked your organic, paid, collaborative, whichever one. I want you to develop your visibility routine. I like that, Cheyenne. Cheyenne already did hers. Reach out to 10 brands a week. Do 1 YouTube video a week, 3 TikTok videos a day. And we're going to know what the goals are. So you're reaching out to 10 brands. Is it to secure 1 brand collaboration a month? Is it to secure 2? Do you mind if it's a partnership type of campaign? So you're pitching to other people who have similar audiences? Or do you mind, or can it be half and half with a tech company? So maybe you use, I don't know. I can't think of no other tech other than the tech I use right now for some reason. Maybe you use Shopify a lot. And you're like, okay, let me see if Shopify will let me write an article. I'm going to pitch to them and try to get that. So you can define what those goals look like. But I like that. I really like that. All right. So now let's get into, we talked about visibility. Let's get into lead generation. Oops. No, y'all didn't. Go back. There we go. Let's talk about lead generation. Ingrid, is this making, oh, I see you said yes. Okay. So lead generation could be your missing link. You want to build trust before the sale. Okay. And so the thing is that when you build trust, people see the value in you and they kind of like you, right? And they want to buy. And even if you're not the face, whoever the face is, they start to trust them. And even if for some reason, maybe you're not the face and nobody else is the face, maybe your customers are the face. Based on what you put out there, they can still build trust. And even then, you can still, without being the face, you can put out stories about you as the CEO, so on and so forth, that people will start to pick up and trust on. And so visibility alone doesn't equate to sales. We need to capture, nurture, and convert our leads. Some people will just post for the sake of going viral and nothing happens after that. You go viral, you had nothing to generate leads. So therefore, nothing happened. I posted a YouTube video in the same one that I mentioned in November, where I put it together real quick. I was this close to not putting it up because I was frustrated. I didn't feel like editing it. And I said, okay, I'm going to just put it together. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I didn't think that it was going to do well because it was a video that I was testing. I was testing the fact of digital products, and I was testing out whether or not my audience would be receptive to it the way that I put it out there. And so it was 7 digital product ideas, 10, something like that. Digital product ideas and how to brand them so you can sell them or something like that. I put that thing together and I made sure that I had a lead magnet in there. Even though I didn't think it was going to do well, that video, I can't remember what the exact number is, but it did well. And that video alone got us like 300 emails over the course of like a day or two. Do y'all see the importance of generating leads? Imagine if that video, let me check the views. Imagine if that video, because I'm the type of person where when I don't know something, I'm like, I need to know. $43,000 views. Imagine if I didn't put a lead generator in that video. I would have just had 43,000 views that, yeah, maybe they would like the video, maybe they would subscribe, but them liking and subscribing isn't kickstarting anything for me sales-wise. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? And so what I'm challenging you to do when you see content on any platform and it's doing numbers, don't get sidetracked by what your purpose and what your goals are. Focus on what it is that you have already planned to do and lock in and do that thing. And like I said, when you have this routine and you know the input that you're putting in, the output will match your input. And if for some reason it doesn't, you know how to tweak whatever it is because now you have the data to back it up. Okay? So people don't buy immediately. They buy when they trust you and see consistent value. So how do we want to generate leads? One, we need to capture them. So we need to have a way to collect and organize our new potential buyers. Your goal is to get the right people into your ecosystem so they can eventually buy. And so what I like to say is there are times where, yeah, you may want to push for a viral moment, but you need to have strategically set up things around that viral moment where it makes sense, where the right people will funnel into the areas. So think about it as, you running to a large crowd of 1,000 people and saying, hey, it's free money over here. All 1,000 people run to the building that you're saying it's free money at. But then when they get to the building where it says that it's free money, they give out maybe like $100 bill to everybody. But then they say, hey, I actually got $10,000, but you got to match these requirements. You got to be a mom. You got to be between the ages of 25 and 35. And you got to be interested in having long hair, something like that. Now I've pulled the right people out of the crowd to give the $10,000 to. Think about your viral pieces of content like that. So I'm not saying that in your content strategy, you shouldn't intentionally think, oh, what can I post that could possibly be trendy? Or what can I post that could possibly go viral? I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm saying that you should have two things: a lead generation strategy, and you should be strategic around whatever the viral content is that you're posting. So I just told you that video, 43,000, right? In there was a lead magnet that I advertised. But right before that video, I posted something that only my core audience would lock in and pay attention to. Okay? You can do this with any platform, honestly. You can do this with any platform. All right. So, some ways that you want to capture some leads. You want to use email to your advantage. So email, text, I use them interchangeably. But you want to make sure that you have a way that people can opt into your email list. This can be through lead magnets, wait lists, VIP lists. These lead magnets can be free content, free samples, mini guides, webinars. I told y'all I was doing a webinar. We're supposed to do a webinar this week. It's going to happen. That's a lead magnet, right? That's a lead magnet. So all 500 people who sign up or however many, I'm generating leads, and then we're going to weed some people out, and we're going to be able to keep the core of who we need, right? The next way is you can do community-based marketing to capture leads. Private groups, challenges, live workshops. These actually work wonders because people love free stuff. So all of the ways that you're capturing leads they need to be free or they need to be super cheap. One of the things that I told Chloe to do to capture leads is to make sure that she has her nail sizing kit and samples front and center. As long as they're less than $10, put them front and center. There'll be more people who will buy that $5 or $9 thing before they buy your $70 thing. And so you don't want to lose the lead because they're scared of the price tag. If you offer them something for free or dirt cheap and they get into your ecosystem and you do the job of nurturing them with your emails and things like that, you nurture them to the sale. There's some people who will bite the bullet and buy right away. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. My dog is choking. Sorry. Where was I at? Where was I at? Yes, you want to nurture them to the sale. There's some people who will bite the bullet and buy stuff, but we can't rely only on those people. 90% of people need to build trust with you and they want to see what the heck is up. Okay? Even the way that Ingrid and Cheyenne got here. They got here through a guest pass session that we did last week. They needed to see what was up, right? It doesn't matter. It's weird, but I can see why, because I'm a human, right? And if you think about it for about 5 minutes, you'll see why too, right? Because you think about how you are, it makes sense. It makes sense, right? And so how do you determine if you should offer free, if you should offer cheap, if you should do both? What's the difference? Well, if you want higher quality leads, charge them something. If you want more leads, charge them nothing. That's the difference. The only difference. And so what a lot of sales gurus will do, because I've been in my sales bag recently. What a lot of sales gurus do is they do both. Yep, exactly, Felicia. They do both. And so what you'll notice is I'm going to pull back up my ClickFunnels screen. Before, when I did free webinars, it was only free. It was free. And then on the webinar, I'm selling you into something, of course. But before the webinar, there's no way for you to actually purchase anything, right? And so now, where is this at? No, I just was there. OMG. This is why I don't like having all of these things open. Let me just, maybe I was just here. Sorry, y'all. Let me pull this back up. There we go. And so Now what I'm doing is exactly what Felicia said, where when you come to register for the webinar, you're going to get sold into something. And it's something that's super cheap. It's something low. So we're not going to go from free to sell them into something super high. We're going to sell them into something low, right? And so this is what it looks like. And you can replicate this in a number of ways. You can also do this same strategy. You can also do this same strategy by doing this via email. So if they come on your list through something free, warm them up maybe with 2 or 3 emails. The third email, you're selling them to something else. So as soon as you lock in, it says upgrade for $9.97. No, there should definitely be a picture here. Okay, gotta fix that. But there should be pictures here. Oh, it's loading. But that's what it looks like, right? So you can do both of those things. All right, let's get back to the presentation. I share no more screens because this thing is irritating me. Why is it not pulling up? There we go. It's saying that it's open and it's not. Thank you. And then we got to start over every single time. All right. Y'all still with me? And Canva's frozen. Hold on, y'all. My side of Canva, oh, the whole thing is frozen. Okay. 1 second. I think this computer just has too much open. So what are your thoughts so far? While I fix this, what are your thoughts so far? What are your thoughts so far? Option escape. I don't even know why music is open. It's just a whole lot of for no reason. There you go. Let's force quit that. A whole lot of for no reason. Let me stop sharing my screen real fast because everything is like going hella slow. And this. Come on, close it. Okay. There we go. Now it's restarting. Let's see. Ingrid, let me see what y'all are saying while Google Chrome restarts. Loving it, exactly what I expected. Oh, I love that. I love that. Lena said, close this. Please close that. It's this. You are the problem. I'm about to close all of these things. There we go. I think ClickFunnels is the problem. Or is it my computer? So no. Lena said, my plan is to do a free checklist with a paid workbook upgrade, then retarget those who don't want the upgrade. Yep. You can also, Lena, so drop some of your ideas. Let me talk through them with y'all. You can also, when they do get the free checklist, whether or not they upgrade, just have two different paths. So when it comes to outlining what the journey or even what your sales system should look like, you can say, did they buy this? Yes or no? Yes, they get these sequence of emails. No, they get these sequence of emails, and maybe you present them again with the option to buy the paid workbook upgrade again, like you said. And then if you are doing ads, I don't remember what you said your 3 pathways for visibility were, but if you are doing ads, then you can definitely do ads and run it into the free checklist. So that way you maximize your volume, and then you can do some retargeting by the upsell. You can definitely do that as well. The checklist. Okay. Cheyenne said, I answer some more questions at the end. I think it's back up, so I want to try it because I wanted to make sure that we get through this at a decent time tonight. If it starts being finicky again, I'm just going to have to write out. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen again? Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. So where was I at? Okay. So, okay. Dang, what? Oh, okay, I see it. All right, so sorry, I'm looking at the back end. All right, so you can also do community-based marketing. So you can have private groups, you can have free challenges, you can have free workshops. All these things like we just talked about can have a paid upsell to them. So maybe you have a free group for moms, or maybe you have a free group for content creators. There needs to be a goal of the group though. And so you present whatever that goal of the group is, and then you show up, you make sure that whatever the value is given, and then make sure that you are presenting a way that they can tap into your actual like paid offers. Does that make sense? A way that you can do this too, especially with content creators too, maybe you want to host collaborative workshops. They're free to attend, but when they go to register, you can upgrade them to get, I don't know, either a workbook or upgrade them to get like a content creator kit or something like that. And then y'all get on these workshops, and whatever the goal is of the workshop, you use your creativity to figure it out. You get on these workshops. There's going to be some people who are on there that didn't pay a dime to be there. And then there'll be people who did pay to be there. The people who paid there are going to be your higher quality leads like we talked about. But then you sell them into your planner on the workshop, or whatever it is that you want to sell them into on the workshop. And bada bing, bada boom, you can make money that way, but that's based off of community-based marketing, right? Because of challenges and workshops and groups, it gives you that group dynamic. And those work really well too, because people start to build trust off of the relationships they make in the group. So it's not just solely off of you and what you do. Obviously, you had to do something to create the group and to maintain the group, but it's not solely just off of your face or your actions. You can then capture leads through direct engagement. So Chloe does this really well. Instagram DMs. We had a ManyChat 3-part lesson where I taught you how to set up your ManyChat and how to set up different automations with it. Guess what? ManyChat now works with TikTok. So if you are going to be on TikTok in 2025, you can set up your ManyChat to TikTok now. And I'm sure the directions are the same as what we did in the past with the 3-part ManyChat. So if you set up ManyChat for Instagram or Facebook, it's more than likely the same for TikTok. Okay. And then, so you can have some direct engagement with them. So if somebody comments on your post, you can set up what's called trigger words, or like I like to call them power words, to then start talking to them in the DMs and push them to whatever the next step is. I'm going to give you some examples, right? If you have a physical product, you can offer, let's say you have a skincare brand, you can offer a quiz about finding your perfect skincare routine, and that could lead to a personalized skincare guide. But in order to get that skincare guide, you got information on that person. And that information allows you to start nurturing them to the sale. You then, if you have a digital product, maybe you help people make money, like Lena, you help them brand better so they can make money. Maybe you give them a 3-step plan to making their first $1,000 online or something. And then that download triggers a nurture sequence as well. Okay. So start brainstorming some ways that you can intentionally generate leads. You don't need to do a whole lot of stuff. Remember, focus. We're going to get a lot of ideas, but we want to narrow it down. And because we're going based off of our game plan that we set when we planned revenue, when we planned our brand goals and our operational goals, remember what we talked about. I talked about having a main focal area and having themes for your month, right? What you're focused on for that month. We don't want to try to do 7, 10 different things all at once, because then they're going to get 5% of your energy spread across all things. We want to lock in, perfect one thing, maximize one thing, and then we can go to the next thing, right? And so we want to remember that. So what's one way you can start collecting leads more intentionally? Think about that and write that down. And as you're writing that down, let's talk about how you nurture them. We're a little behind due to the tech. So we're supposed to be done at 8:35, so I might need like 5 more minutes. So I'm sorry. Nurturing leads, you want to build trust and warm up your potential buyers. This is what's called KLT, the know, like, trust factor. People need multiple interactions with your brand before buying. Once they enter your world, I want you to ask yourself, what happens next? So by enter your world, once they give you your email, once they give you their email address, once they give you their text, their phone number, once they lock into your group, if you're going to do a group, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on school is the new hip thing, whether it's in, where else can you create a group? Anywhere, right? ManyChat is an automation system. So if you've ever commented on somebody's post, or if you ever saw a post that said comment this word and I'll DM you a link, they're more than likely using ManyChat. They're more than likely using ManyChat. If it wasn't for my computer being finicky, I would show you right now, but I'll show you later. If you haven't, I'll show you an example of what it is. But anytime you see that where somebody says comment something or DM me something, they're using automation, and the automation 9 times out of 10 is through ManyChat. And we have that session in the replays. I don't remember the month we did it, but if somebody want to go find out the month that we did ManyChat and find out the dates for the ManyChat 1, 2, and 3, that'd be great. But that's what ManyChat is. So once they enter your world, your email list, text list, what have you, what happens next? You need to nurture them. You need to nurture them so that they get ready to buy from you. Just because they joined your email list or just because they joined your free group does not mean that they're ready to buy. Okay, remember what I said. Free leads, you can get a lot. But if you charge them a little bit, you can get higher quality leads, right? And so when we're getting free leads, it's going to take a little bit more elbow grease to warm them up to buy whatever the biggest thing is. Right? When we're getting paid leads, it'll take them less elbow grease. They'll be a little bit easier, but we still got to nurture them regardless. And so the way that you can nurture them is, 1, personalized content and storytelling. Don't be afraid to share your journey, share behind the scenes, share content that makes you the expert. It doesn't matter what you're selling. You have to be the expert to sell that thing. You can be an expert in style. You can be an expert in being a mommy boss. You can be an expert nail tech. You could be an expert content creator. What are your credentials? What makes you this expert, right? Even if you don't call yourself an expert, you can be somebody's content bestie. You're still wanting that expert title technically, right? So what makes you so good of a content creator that they should look up to you or look to you for insight? What's those credentials? List them out. And when you list them out, you'll probably notice that there's a journey within those things that you can share based off of what you're currently going through or gone through. I hope that makes sense. The second way that you can build know, like, trust factor is through social proof and testimonials. Showcase real results from customers. You can do this when people are going to sign up. Even if it's something that's free, you can put testimonials on there. You don't have to put a whole bunch because it's free. If they're going to get something that's your low lead magnet, something that's like $9 or whatever, you can put a little bit more testimonials than what you would put on a free page. And then you can also just post testimonials, period, on social media and things like that. But also, because they're going to tap into your community or tap into your email list, when you are nurturing them through your automated welcome series, as you're telling them your story and connecting with them, make sure that one of those emails has some social proof. You can tell them a story about somebody who saw results from your product. You can tell them a story about maybe some impact that you made, that you know that your brand made. Whatever it is that gives you social proof, it needs to be embedded in that welcome sequence. Okay, it needs to be provided in those welcome sequence. If you have questions, let's dang, the questions thing is not here. If you have questions, you can write them down or save them, and then I'll answer at the end. I just want to make sure that I get through because we had that hiccup, so I'm trying to catch up. But that's a good question, Ingrid. And then last but not least, you have exclusive email or community content. So when they log in with you, share deeper insights or education or mini trainings. The best way to do this via email is a newsletter. Hands down. I used to do a newsletter when I had my shoe boutique. I did a newsletter. I want to say it was every 2 weeks. Don't get me to lying. But I did things like how to walk in heels and all those type of things. I even had like videos and stuff. It was crazy. People weren't doing that, right? And so what I found myself is we kind of stopped doing a newsletter a little bit. But I said, why did I stop doing that? I think it was just a matter of everything became a lot and I just didn't focus on it as much. And so now we're getting back to that. We're taking email more serious because there was a point where I had like maybe 1,000 people on my email list, but every time I would send an email out, I knew I would make like $300. Like this is when it was in the early years, right? And now I'm to the point where we got all these people on our email list, but it's like, dang, it's like pulling teeth sometimes, but that's because we didn't nurture them and we didn't show up through exclusive email content to make them primed to actually want to buy. The worst thing you can have is a dead email list. Take it from me. That is what happened. We had 21,000? What did I tell y'all last time? 20,000 or something like that. We cut 13,000 of them. Gone. No hard feelings on me. Bye. I need my email to be engaged, and we are doing it right in 2025. And one of the ways is we are bringing back newsletters for both brands. Bringing back for HBU sounds crazy because it just started, but we're having newsletters for both brands. In my newsletter, there are certain sections in the newsletter that provide deeper insights. Make sure that you know my brand is an expert brand and give you some type of mini transformation so that way you trust me. The more you send those out, the more people are going to say, okay, what you selling? Let me just buy it. How can you help me? You got some people, some moochers that will just want the free content, but you'll notice who they are over time through data. All right. So some example nurture strategies. If you're a candle brand, you can share candle care tips via email to ensure that buyers get the best experience, to ensure that they know what it is that they need. Maybe you create templates. If you create templates of some sort, whatever kind of template, design templates, whatever, you can create like behind the scenes breakdown on how you use your own templates for productivity, or how you use your own digital planners to create great content, or how you use your own branding templates to create beautiful websites. Okay, that's an example there. All right, so that's lead generation. Now let's get into your sales strategy, right? Let's talk about sales systems. So the way that you turn your visibility into revenue is you get your visibility, you get a lead, then you sell them, right? So now we're on the end of it. When you add visibility plus trust, plus your offer, sprinkle in some consistency, we have sales. Clap it up. You now know the formula, right? So screenshot this. You should never complain about not getting sales if one of these things are missing. If one of these things are missing, visibility, and we're going to count visibility and leads. We're going to count trust as leads, right? So visibility, trust, they trust you enough to give you their emails or their phone numbers, all the things to become a lead. A really good offer for them or offers, and consistency. If you don't have all four, if at any point throughout this year you're like, dang, I'm not making as many sales as I want to, look back at this formula and ask yourself if you have all four. You need to make sure that whatever sales goal that you have, is attached to your visibility efforts. So Cheyenne shared hers earlier in the chat where she put what her input is going to be. Her input is a mixture of how she's going to show up, aka visibility, how she plans on generating trust. It's making her consistent because she's giving the cadence. Cadence is how frequent you're going to show up somewhere. And I said, be clear on what the focus and the goal is. That's her missing piece. Be clear on whatever the offer is. So if you're going to sell them on something before the planner, what is that thing? If you are going to get them into a free community or something like that before you sell them on the $9 thing, what is that thing? And as long as you're clear on that, you got your offers. You got the free thing, you got the $9 thing, you got your $50 planner. I don't know how much it is, really. I'm just saying numbers. You got your $50 planner. And you mix that together with all the things she mapped out already that gave her visibility, trust, and consistency. She has sales. All right? So what I want you to do in terms of your sales strategy, we're going to build on top of what we just did. I first want you to make sure that you know where your core revenue streams are going to come from for Q1 and Q2. So for the first half of 2025, where are your core revenue streams going to come from? This pulls from part one. And if you didn't watch part one, you may not know yet, or you can take a guess, or you can go and revisit part one and make sure that you know. Right? So I want you to reference what you wrote down in the financial goals session and identify where your revenue is coming from. I like to call it your profit pushers. Y'all remember that? Your profit pushers. The main attraction, where the revenue is coming from. Identify what that is. Identify what that is. I'm going to give you like 1 minute to identify what that is. Pull up your notes from the financial goals session if you need to, and identify what it is. Where will your revenue come from? What are your main revenue streams? If you were to say you have 2 to 3 for the first half of the year, what's the 3? What's the 3? Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? You have like 30 seconds. And we're not talking about the money that you may make from a platform, because I know Instagram is paying people to create threads now. I'm not counting the money that you make on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, I'm not counting that. We're talking about what you're selling. What you're selling, that's the money that we're counting. So not your YouTube, not not what any platform is monetizing you and paying you. That's just a bonus. We're gonna count that as a bonus. The stuff that we actually gotta sell. Okay. Okay. Now, the second step is I want you to map out your sales timeline. How you're going to do this is you're going to align your sales with your visibility strategy to define when you're selling. So an example may be monthly, you're going to do flash sales or product drops. Quarterly, you're going to do your big campaign launches, and maybe something that's evergreen, which means it's always available. You may do your smaller lead magnets that are less than $10 consistently throughout your content every single week. For example, in each of our videos now, moving forward, if it's not a sponsored video, I'm going to mention in YouTube, I am going to mention a freebie. That freebie is mentioned at the beginning. Our goal is to mention it before the drop-off point of our YouTube videos and put y'all up on game. I'm giving y'all some advanced game here, right? So our goal is to mention our freebie before the drop-off point of our video. So if we notice that most people, or not most, but some people drop off around, let's say, the 3-minute mark, my freebie is going to be mentioned at the beginning because I want to get as many people as possible. The people who make it about a third, not a third, a 3/4 of a way in, they're people who are more serious than the people who already left about whatever the topic is. And so I am going to then give them one of my paid lead magnets at this point. And so will I have some people that get both? Absolutely. But the fact that you paid for something tells me that you're a higher quality lead, right? And so for me, this is something that happens on Evergreen because I'm going to do this in every video except when it's a brand collaboration, because when it's a brand collaboration, I got to sell that thing, right? And so that's something that's evergreen because I'm doing it every week. But then because the platform, that's my heartbeat platform, YouTube is an evergreen platform. So you can pull up videos from 3 years ago when you search something. That's just how the YouTube algorithm works. However, what I'm doing quarterly are campaigns. So our biggest revenue driver, we have a quarterly campaign for it. And we already have the dates mapped out on the calendar. Y'all still got the calendar that I gave you in part 1, right? Yes, I hope so. The calendar we made on Canva together. That's when I did all those things quarterly, that's mapped out. Right? So I'm just going to tell you what we do. Well, I already started telling you. So evergreen, we got the freebies and then the paid lead magnets. Quarterly, full transparency. Our main, and I'm talking about my flagship business, the Brand Hustler LLC. Our main business sells a program called the Ultimate Launch Program. We're launching that quarterly. It wasn't until recently when 2 of the coaches that I'm working with to coach me to my $1 million year said that I needed to have something else. So now we're trying to figure out what that looks like. Does this thing replace the quarterly launches of this thing? Is this thing going to be something that's evergreen monthly? We don't know yet. So that's like iffy. But the plan in going into 2025 as of right now is that main thing, opening that up quarterly. Monthly, pushing Bomb CEO, right, through different ways. Okay. And so what it may look like now, because this other thing is super, super important, we may put Bomb CEO on Evergreen, and then quarterly will still be this program. Monthly will now be this new thing. But you got to know what the sales cycles are for each of your revenue drivers. So Cheyenne was the only one who put her financial targets. So for planners, are you coming out with a different type of planner each quarter? If so, maybe you do your planner, have a big launch quarterly. Or maybe you have an event quarterly, and then your planners, you focus on that monthly. And maybe you come out with different types of planners, every quarter, but every month you're pushing it and you're making noise about it. And all you do is at the beginning of the quarter, you're like, oh, well, this is fresh. This is new. It's new planner, y'all. And then you just keep pushing that same planner for the remainder of the quarter. And then you switch to the next one, push, 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 push. Maybe your planners are what's evergreen. And you talk about that every week. And you set up something that's evergreen to push traffic. What else can evergreen mean if you don't have a platform or you don't have substantial presence on YouTube to have evergreen presence? That looks like running an evergreen ad. Okay. So now we're not running ads simply because we want ads to make us like boohoo cash tomorrow. Now we're running ads intentionally. So if we know that our evergreen item that we want to push is our free community that upsells into a $50 something or upsells into whatever that low cost thing is. Low cost is depending on what your main thing is and what the price is. But if I know that my free community, I wanted to sell into this $50 thing, I run ads to my free community. And I'm going to run a juicy ad too. So if I'm doing a community, let's just take Lena, for example, who helps moms with their visual branding and all the things so that they can become boss moms and reclaim their time back. I can create a really good ad where I'm showcasing all the happenings in the community, how fun it is or how supportive it is, blah, 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 blah. Maybe I have another version of the ad where it's like people's feedback about the community. And we can get this feedback made through like a control group. If Lena already knows some moms and stuff like that, even if it's 10 people, put them in the group and plan some stuff. So y'all can go take pictures, have a picnic, take pictures, do something, and then use that in the ad. And then you're just running that ad. Your cost per lead is going to be low because people are going to convert for free stuff faster. And then you have this system where you then sell them into the low cost thing. And then now the people who bite at that low cost thing, you put them into a higher level funnel that sells them into the bigger thing. All right. But that could be something that runs evergreen for Lena as well. So you know you're always generating leads. You're always generating paid leads. And as long as you have everything on the back end set up correctly, you're always generating sales. So her frequency may end up being that she gets 10 new people in her community every day. And then every week she gets, what is that? Let's do, so 10 times 7. So 70 people in her community a week. And out of those 70 people, maybe 30% of them convert. So 21 of them convert into her low priced offer. So maybe her low price offer is something that's $20. That's $420 a week. And then out of those 21 people that convert weekly, multiply that by the month. That is what? 84 people who have bought her items. So not only has Lena now made 84 times 20, 1680 for the month off of these people who bought the lower price lead magnet, but now out of these 84 people, let's say 20% of them convert into her bigger item, and let's say her bigger item is $500. Lena's now made $8,400 on top of the $1,680 that her small lead magnet has made. Let me tell you what the total is. This is the total. Can y'all see my screen? Let me stop the share so you can see my screen. This is the total, right? And why am I not pinned? So sorry. This is the total. $10,080. Let me multiply that real quick by 12. It's 6 figures. I mean, that was quick math, but I could have did that. I just wanted to do it for dramatics. Right? That's what that looks like. And that's how we be intentional with our stuff, okay? So, OMG, I did not notice that my read assistant was not in here. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right. So, boom. Now, step 3 is you know what your frequency is, you know what your sales cycles are, you know all the things. Build out what your sales system look like. So you want to think funnel wise. Sales isn't just posting and hoping. You want to have a clear journey. So I just went through that when I gave Lena's example. What are we doing to attract them? What are we doing to engage them and nurture them? What are we doing to convert them? And so if Lena wants to get people in her community, maybe she's attracting them through organic content on Instagram, organic content on Pinterest, and then she's using the paid strategy such as ads. And then she's making sure that on an evergreen basis, she's advertising this community. And in this community, she's engaging in the community. Maybe they do, I don't know, mommy events or mommy virtual wine nights or something every week. I don't know. She's engaging with them some type of way. Obviously, you want to make sure that once they join your community, you're collecting their emails so that way you can continue to nurture them, whether it's a newsletter, you have your automatic welcome sequence and things like that. Then you have your newsletter, all the things. And then from there, we're converting them into something, right? So in that nurture sequence, when they're welcomed to the community, and maybe we have 7 emails timed to send to them over 2 weeks, within there, maybe by 5 days into that 2 weeks, we're upselling them into whatever that low ticket item is. Maybe every time that you have a meeting in that free group, you're mentioning whatever this low lead thing is, this $50, is it $50? I said $20, whatever this $20 thing is. And then from there, the people who bite on that, you have record of it, you put them into your higher thing, and all you got to do is nurture them and sell them to that thing. And you can now run ads to them specifically, selling them into the high thing if you wanted to do that too. So you can have both things working in your favor. Okay, so attract, engage, nurture, convert. That's what your sales funnel needs to have, all 4 of those things, all 4 of those areas. Got it? Y'all got it? We got one last thing and then we're done and we got questions. All right, so I want you to plan for consistency. So we talked about this before. We talked about having your quarterly goals, obviously, that's your 12-week sprints, and then having a monthly focus, kind of like a monthly theme. I said this before. I don't remember if it was part 1, 2, 3, or in multiple. Maybe you need to rewatch it and see where I said this before, but the point is we need to have a focus. So each month should align your content and visibility with your sales goals. Okay? Does that make sense? So one of the things that I started doing this year is I started naming my months because I wanted to give it a little bit more personality. So instead of me saying, okay, well, January, I'm focused on brand awareness and an engagement boost. And in February, I'm focused on soft selling into my paid lead magnet or whatever. And in March, I'm doing this big sales push for whatever the big thing is that I sell quarterly and generating revenue. Instead of me saying stuff like that, I started naming it. And this helped me create content, which I know is one of Lena's problems. It's because of time, but just saying, this helped me create content because I made sure that the themes aligned with what type of content I wanted to share in that month as well. If that makes sense. And I'll show you an example of what I mean after this. So I'll show you a mini chat example, and I'll also show you an example of what I mean with themes, right? So my January has a theme, my February has a theme. I don't know if we named March yet, but we know what March looks. I think March does have a name. Or at least it has the vibe, it just doesn't have a name yet. But we named it. So you need to figure out what your focus is for each month and then name it so that it's easy for you to remember and then create some content and stuff like that around. All right. After you pick your monthly focus, you need to have a weekly sales and marketing plan. And this goes back once again to the cadence that you developed before. So if you know that you need to crank out, I forgot exactly what Cheyenne's was, but I think it was 1 YouTube video a week, pitching to 10 brands a month, and something else. If you know that this is what you need to do, what does your week look like? Are Mondays your pitching days, where you lock in on Mondays and you research brands? Maybe first Monday of the month, you're researching brands and you're putting together what their story is and what they value, and you're finding like what their goals are if you can. And then The next week, you're working on putting together what the email looks like that you're pitching to them. And if you want to attach anything, you're putting that together. Maybe the third week, you're proofing it over and then you're sending it out. Maybe the fifth week, if any of the brands wanted to have a quick call, that's the Monday where you do that. The fourth Monday of the month. Do you see what I'm saying? But Mondays are your brand collab / pitching days. And if you know that, okay, you want to get a YouTube video out once per week, maybe Tuesdays, same thing with YouTube. Maybe every Tuesday is your YouTube day. Maybe the first Tuesday, you're figuring out your content ideas for YouTube and you're researching SEO and all the things, and you're figuring out your thumbnail and your title because you do that first. And I talked about that a little bit in the insider training that's in the replay section. You do that first. You follow something called the Ben's formula. Go check it out if you're interested. And from there, you then do the second week is where you script. Maybe the third week, Tuesday, is where you record. And the fourth week, Tuesday, is where you edit. And then that's the content you put out the following month. Okay. And so you just work like that to develop what your weekly plan needs to be based off of the cadence and the goals that you set earlier. You build it out. So I'm going to give you like maybe 2 minutes. Actually, no, we're behind. So we're going to go. But I want you to do that after this. I want you to take the cadence that you developed earlier and figure out what your weekly plan is going to be. And hint, I actually call this a CEO schedule. I like to theme my days and I call it a CEO schedule. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. And when I went to set up Motion is this AI scheduling app. When I went to set it up, it made it a breeze because I knew when I wanted to do certain things. And so it makes it easy for them to schedule what needs to be done for me, especially when it's major things that need to move the needle. They know how to schedule that and they know how to move smaller things around. But yeah. All right. So a couple of key steps that I want you to take away from this. One, I want you to remember that visibility without strategy is wasted effort. 2, sales don't come from content alone. You need a structured sales system. 3, stay consistent with monthly focuses and weekly marketing routines. Those are the 3 core things I want you to remember. Okay? And so what I want you to do before you look at what next steps are is right now, I want you to take about 2 minutes to write down 3 marketing actions that you're going to commit to for the next 30 days. Put it in the chat. Write it in your book and then put it in the chat as well. Write it in your notes and then put it in the chat. Write down 3 marketing actions you'll commit to for the next 30 days. Let me go back so it's not confusing. You have about a minute left. reevaluate my lead magnet sequence that at your VIP day. You absolutely can. The more ideas you come with, or the more data you analyze or see what needs to be fixed, the more we can get done on that day. So, yes, ma'am. But that's definitely already on my radar. Okay, you got like 20 more seconds. Drop what you're going to focus on the next 30 days. What's our time right now? Started at like 7:05. All right, so you should already have it written down, right? You should already have it written down. You're going to need to do 3 marketing actions you'll commit to for the next 30 days. So if you don't have all 3 after this session is over with, after these sessions, y'all, it's not for you to just go kick your feet up, eat on the couch, all the things. If even I, who've been working on my business all day, sometimes still works after these sessions, I need y'all to really lock in while it's fresh and just take an hour and knock out whatever it is that you're supposed to do as the action after this, because the true results come when you implement whatever the action is. I'm so much of an action taker and an implementer that after my mastermind sessions, which I'm in a mastermind, I don't know if I told y'all that, to make my first million this year. When we have our sessions, which we meet every 2 weeks, that's it, right? Every 2 weeks, and our investment was $12,000 every 2 weeks for 90 days. So what's that math? That's 3 months times 2, 6 times that we're meeting, and then we have 2 in-person meetings. Okay. So it's important that after every session I implement. Although you didn't invest at that high amount and you get to see me every week, it doesn't mean that you don't implement. If anything, that should mean that you should be implementing more. Okay. So that's what you want to do. Then let's talk about what your next steps are, and then we'll get into some questions, and I'll take questions for a few minutes if you have them, and then we'll hop off no later than 9 o'clock. Okay, so 3 actions that I want you to take right now is choose your 2 to 3 visibility strategies that you're going to focus on. That's what I just, I told you to write that down earlier. You're going to map out your 30-day content and sales plan. And this is basically the cadence mixed with all the things. Layer the things that you learned today together. That should be the visibility plan. What are your paths that you're taking? What are your 3 paths that you're taking? Making sure that they're not all just 3 social media platforms. One needs to be collaborative or one needs to be paid on top of your organic. Then I want you to say, okay, how is it that you're capturing leads? What does that look like? Remembering that this equation matters. So making sure that you have this box checked. And then figuring out, okay, what does my sales funnel look like? What does my journey look like? And then what is the sales funnel behind it? How often am I launching things or selling things? What's my evergreen sale that's being made? What does that look like? How do I attract, engage, nurture, convert all the time, or in everything that I think about doing? How do I do this? Okay. And then from there, you stick to the plan by making sure that you break your task up into themed days based on your themed months. And last but not least, you're going to set a goal for lead generation. So whatever that goal is, all right, you're going to set a goal for lead generation. So if you need to screenshot this, because these are the actions that you need to take right now. Now, any questions? I know that Lena was in the group answering some questions. So any questions that didn't go unanswered, just copy and paste them again. And then we'll answer questions. I'm going to, who do I know that uses ManyChat? I mean, I use ManyChat, but all right. So this is probably one right here. I don't know. I think she did it here. No. Oh, here we go. This got to be one. There we go. All right. So y'all see where she said comment guest? This is for Cheyenne who didn't know what mini chat is. You see where she said comment guest, and I'll DM you the link right now. All these people who are commenting guests, they're getting the link via their DMs automatically through ManyChat. So if you ever seen this, have you ever seen this, Cheyenne? Where you see somebody say comment a certain word? That ManyChat is what supports the automation of that. I told y'all I was gonna show y'all something else. I'm trying to go back to see what I said I was gonna show y'all. I don't even remember. I'm not even lying to you. Oh, yes, themes. Does that make sense? Let me know. Okay, let's see. Any questions or we're good? If you don't have any questions, I see your questions, Cheyenne, but I want to make sure that you understand the ManyChat thing first. If you have questions, drop your question. If you don't have a question, drop what your biggest takeaway was from tonight. I tried ManyChat before. I worded the question wrong. Oh, you worded the ManyChat question wrong? Okay. And then let's see. So I'm scrolling up to see. I know that Ingrid. Oh, Lena answered your question, Ingrid. So Ingrid, did that question about testimonials get answered for you? How do you entice people to provide testimonials, videos, pics, etc.? Are freebies and discounts the way? Absolutely. Freebies, discounts, and sometimes people just want to be seen. So depending on who your audience is, some people want the attention. So this works really good when you are working with people who, like, how do I put it? Like, for example, I help entrepreneurs. So being on my website and making sure that your business is mentioned is a way that you can technically get some visibility. Chloe, maybe she's advertising some nail techs and they want people to book them for their nails. So some of them will simply do it for clout. But having the things that Lena said absolutely works. I actually do that often. Not often, but I do that as well. My question was, can ManyChat be considered a lead magnet? No, ManyChat is just the way that you deliver the lead magnet. Cheyenne also said, is there any way I can get a VIP day? So the way to do that is you apply, you fill out an application. The link is in here somewhere. Let me see. Here it is. So I'll paste it in the chat again. But you fill out this application. When you fill out this application, then we sort through it and then we'll get on the call with you to figure out what's the best direction for you. All right. So this was great.